So we have been talking and speculating a lot about things relating to SR distribution, hidden MMR, matchmaking and the like. Speculating more than anything simply because Blizzard never gave us a lot of information on those subjects to begin with. However, a recent post on the Overwatch forums suggests that maybe, just maybe, we are not just all crazy people and there in fact were a lot of problems in Season 2. Today I would like to discuss what we could possibly be seeing in the upcoming competitive season of Overwatch. If you want to read up on the dev posts yourself, then there will be links down in the description below. Before we talk about the possible changes on Season 3 compared to our current season, let's first talk about what we actually play, the heroes. Game director Jeff Kaplan addressed in a recent post on the forum the notion of troll picks. Troll picks describes somebody in your team seemingly purposefully throwing the game by picking a hero that is either not considered viable on this particular point on this map, or heroes that are overall regarded as useless in the current meta. It is never our intention to have a hero be perceived as a troll pick, but that will inevitably happen sometimes. Let's say that we all agreed that all of the heroes were perfectly balanced, even if we touched nothing, eventually the balance would shift over time due to evolving playstyle strategies and meta trends. What he's trying to say is that there will always be troll picks in this regard, alone for the reason that players are ever evolving and improving at the game. For example, there are occasions where on King's Row Attack, you'll encounter player locking Widowmaker. Now it used to be more of a widespread thing to play Widowmaker throughout the entire match, however, not everyone can play Widowmaker effectively to this extent, so what this player tries to do instead is getting a quick pick early into the match to get his team a numerical advantage and then swap to another hero. Strategies like this pop up all the time, and on some point, depending on how effective it is, it becomes part of the meta to the point where you can almost say with certainty that it is going to happen, and I'll feel like it's been done forever with the notion of how did nobody think of this beforehand. The mantle of troll pick falls onto heroes with only limited utility, as also heroes that can be extremely effective in the right hands, however are picked often by players who lack the necessary skill to be effective. That includes heroes like Widowmaker, Hanzo, Junkrat and Bastion for example. All these heroes have only one purpose, and that is killing. If they don't, they might as well play something that kills more reliably, such as McCree or Soldier 76. However, there's also another kind of troll pick that I've already hinted to, and that's heroes that are universally seen as bad across the board. At the time of making this video, that would be Symmetra and Torbjorn, both of which are currently being looked at. On the PTR, they're playing with the idea of Torbjorn generating scraps over time, which a lot of players have positively replied to. Symmetra, however, is probably going to be seeing some bigger mechanical changes, hence we're not seeing any changes yet. The bottom line is that, obviously, the development team tries to make every single hero viable, and if their numbers confirm that some heroes are simply not being played, they will look into that. However, you will not get rid of the community's perception of troll picks. Alright, now let's move on to the more juicy stuff, and that includes, but is not limited to, changes to how the placements in Season 3 work. Principal designer Scott Mercer states in a recent forum post, another idea of competitive play we're trying to improve for Season 2 is how we distribute everybody into their skill tiers based on their SR. When Season 2 started, we had way more players in Gold and Platinum than we initially intended, and way fewer in Bronze and Silver. This was the result of how we calculated your initial SR for Season 2. We tried to partially reset player SR at the start of Season 2, but the results were not as expected. Instead, below average players started Season 2 at a higher SR than they should have been, given their performance in Season 1. He also goes on to say, this meant that as they played in Season 2, their SR would often drop to a lower value, which didn't feel great. That last part in particular, I as a competitive player would like to ignore. So this is very interesting because I've been talking to people outside of Overwatch about this, and what I heard often was, wait, isn't Gold a good rank? And having to explain to them that in our current ladder, with the 1 to 5,000 Bronze to Grandmaster kind of system, Gold was actually considered below average. Now, what I and a lot of other people thought initially was that Blizzard simply didn't want people to feel bad about their ranks, as this last part I quoted suggested. So they started giving people Gold and Platinum ranks when their skill would suggest that they belong into Bronze and Silver, and that just doesn't help anyone. One might feel good about it for a day or two, but if you always play with and against people who are way better than you, then all that happens is that you get shit on by the enemies and yelled at by your teammates. One cannot improve under such circumstances. And that's just one part that didn't feel great about this. Forget dropping a lot of SR, what's worse for people who actually belong in those ranks, or even higher for that matter, was that they'd have teammates who are simply incapable of playing effectively under those circumstances, resulting in essentially a dead pick on their team. In a game that is as team reliant as Overwatch, that is a problem of cataclysmic proportions. Every single one of your teammates has to function in their respective role for you to have any chance to win, and players were very well aware of this problem. We have people who in Season 1 placed in the 70s and now didn't even make it into Diamond because they were constantly grouped up with people who just couldn't deliver on the gameplay required for this particular rank. What's essentially happened was that Gold and Platinum ranks in particular became a giant RNG fest. There will be people telling you that they didn't have any problems at all getting to Diamond, and that is possible. However, we had so many players ending up in Gold and Platinum that the skill disparity was simply enormous. Where usually you'd clearly split 2 players into Silver and Platinum respectively, both of them ended up together in Gold. Obviously, if you have so many people of such varying skill levels in the same rank, the quality of games suffers a lot. For most of my time in Season 2, I just bounced up and down on Platinum because of this very reason. Then for 1.5 days, I was just lucky and ended up playing a lot of matches that were very evenly balanced. I didn't win all of them, but it was enough to climb to 3.2. And obviously, we would like this level of randomness to stop. There's no denying that there will always be a level of dice rolling involved in Overwatch Ranked in regards to who gets the better teammates. However, we don't want those dice rolls to be relating to whether somebody's just good enough to play at this rank or way too bad. While a lot of this might sound like whiny elitist complaints of, oh, I can't get into Diamond because my teammates are always crap, it is not something that only people in high ranks benefit from. All this is not about throwing quote-unquote bad players into Bronze and Silver for them to never be seen again. It's about putting people into the ranks that can play in confidently, so they have any chance of improving at all. You don't improve if your team gets trapped in spawn, and you also don't improve trapping another team in spawn. And ultimately, everyone benefits from a system that can more reliably match players of even skill levels. So if those changes go through into the live game and work properly, don't get pissy after your placement matches because our perception on the ranks might change drastically. Again, right now, Gold is considered below average, Platinum is considered elo hell, and anything below Diamond is viewed as simply not good by a large, possibly elitist thinking part of the community. In Season 3, we might actually see the ranks as what they were supposed to be, and what they are like in other games. Bronze for entry, Silver for average, Gold for slightly above average, and so on. Bottom line is that Season 2 is not a good indication at all for which ranks you actually belong into, whether you place too high or too low, but hopes are high for that being a problem of the past once Season 3 hits. Alright, but this is me done for the day. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Do feel free to drop me a like and way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you want to watch me play live, you can do so over on twitch.tv/Terios. Thank you all once again, and I hope to see you guys next time.